My name's Ewan. I'll be here in the paddock and the pits, and Dave Goddard, of course, will be your commentator for the day. So before our first race of today's action, the BMW Kumhos, let's go and speak to a few of the drivers in the paddock. Here we are then in the paddock before our first race of the day, the BMW Kumho Championship. James having a great championship and a lovely qualifying session yesterday too.
Yeah, qualifying went well. I was struggling at first. It was pulled the lap out on the last lap. Literally went over, the flag came out, and I managed to get the pole, which was good. And yeah, it's been a decent season so far.
I mean, 2 wins from 4 races. It's Niall Bradley that's won the other 2, but he is an invitation class, so you're leading the championship, yeah?
I think so. I don't think we actually looked at the points, to be honest, at the moment. We had Silverstone was good, had a couple of wins. Brands wasn't quite so good. We had a few issues with the car, but it feels like it's back in where it should be.
How was qualifying yesterday? I know we talk about the time, but the conditions changing today. Searing heat yesterday, a little bit of drizzle in the sky here.
Yeah, yesterday was very, very hot. Weirdly, though, even though it was that hot, the tyre pressure didn't come to what we were expecting, which meant we didn't get the lap time till very late in the qualifying. Yeah. So we put the pressures a bit today because it's, like I say, a bit colder. I think we're all looking at the sky hoping the drizzle goes away, to be honest. But it could be quite exciting early on with a bit of wet.
I mean, for us watching at home, a bit of drizzle's really good, actually.
Yeah, particularly when we're on slicks. When it slicks with a bit, it gets very interesting. So I think I prefer it dry, though.
There's no chance you can't change from slicks, can you? It's just with your class, it's the slicks on.
We can go to the wets,
okay.
But in the race, by the time you come in and swap with the way these are, you'd lose so much time, you'd stay out. It's just before the race to make the decision we could put the wets on, but it really has to be really wet for them to make any sense.
2 races today. You're looking for 2 podiums, 2 wins. What are you looking at?
I'd like 2 wins, but at least podiums.
Okay, fantastic. James, best of luck. Catch up with you later.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Right, let's go and speak to our invitation class. 2 wins so far this season for Niall Bradley. I can see his car just over behind there. We'll go and have a word. Here we are then, just like magic, found Niall Bradley in the car 47. Now, Niall, you've got to explain what you're doing today, because you're in the BMWs, but you've not qualified, so starting from the back, you're also in the Brit car. What's your diary like today, mate?
First of all, we got Brit car quali. We come straight in from that. We got 10 minutes to swap over then. We'll be then going to Kumho race 1. So we've got to swap the wheels, refuel, and go back out. But because we didn't get here yesterday to qualify with Kumho, we're having to start at the back of race 1. And then wherever we finish race 1 will obviously determines for race 2.
Now, you've won 2 BMW races as an invitation already this year. Starting from the back, you must be looking forward to that.
Yeah, it should be good fun. But look, I'm not here to prove anything. I just want to keep it clean, if you know what I mean. Get it off the line, get away from the back, try and pull a couple of safe moves, and if I can, early doors to try and get back on to the back of the A-class blokes, and then just play it out from there. Then we've got a 15-20 minute race. It's not, it's not like it's over in 5 minutes. So I'm going to try and keep calm and slow start and maybe a quicker finish, but we'll see what happens.
Because 3 races today, you've got to look after the car, haven't you?
We do, yeah. We definitely have to look after it, yeah. We played with it since Brands. At Brands we felt like there just wasn't something sweet with it, and we found the issue on Thursday. So we found a few more horses in it. So it'll be good to see what it's like here today. So yeah, we got to look after it. We definitely.
So car 47, one to look out for at the back of the BMWs. What's your sort of aspirations like for the Brit car? Different kettle of fish, isn't it?
Yeah, big time. Yeah, I done Brit car night race last November. Planned to do 1 race. Surprised myself how well we done there, and then decided to join the second race. But if it's anything like last year, we managed to finish P2 Brit car last year. So we'll just say it's a bigger grid today. A lot of blokes out there for championship, and again, I know the feeling when you're in a championship, and I'm not about to start playing with people's championships. Sometimes you got to lift out and you just got to bide your time, really. But we'll see what happens. It's measuring. We're just measuring ourselves really to see what the car and I can do against different championships, just to see where we stand.
Being typically British, scorching hot yesterday, been a little bit of drizzle in the air this morning. How does that play with your setup for the cars?
To be honest, I don't think it's wet enough to make any changes at the minute. So Brit car runs on a Dureza. If it's wet, you're allowed to use a Dunlop wet, but you're only allowed to use a Dunlop tyre or a Goodyear. So yeah, we'll go out in the Durezas, see what happens, and then just play it by ear. But I don't think we need any changes yet anyway. We'll just play it by ear.
Cousin Ronan behind you over there, he's racing as well. Do you race together, or is it brother? Brother, fantastic. There he is, just doing something with the engine over there. Are you racing against him or with him?
Yeah. Ronan's in a different class. Ronan's racing in Kumho, but he's in a different class. So he's a Class B, slightly lower spec car. But yeah, My other cousin Adrian was supposed to be here. Both of us were supposed to be starting on the back, both Class A cars, but because Liverpool were lucky last night, he's not making it today.
No, best of luck today, mate.
Yeah,
Let's go and see if we can find some of our BMW Mini drivers in the Kumho Championship first race of the day. And we have found not just a Mini driver, but the Mini driver, Zach Blackwell. 4 races, 4 wins, and on pole here at Snetterton. Great season so far. Just sort of summarise it up to this point.
Yeah, it's been a solid start to the year. I've enjoyed the races. Had some really good battles with multiple different people, so that's been enjoyable. A bit of a shock start to the season for me, really, because coming into it a little bit sort of unknowing to what my pace was going to be like. It was just like a lot of unknowns and not a lot of testing going into it, because we just rebuilt the engine literally just before the first race, so from a blow up at the last season. So it's just.
So is 4 wins a surprise then? It sounds like.
Yeah, 4 wins is a surprise for me, because like I say, I'm new to the whole car racing thing. I come from motocross, and 4 wins was a complete shock to me, because I did 3 sort of odd races last year as my first, or like my introduction to the racing, and I had 2 fourths, but then I won the last round at Silverstone, and then I had a blow up. So, but that was in the wet. So, and it's looking like we might get a little bit of rain today. So I'm actually hoping for a bit of rain, make things a bit interesting. I do like the rain. I feel a little bit more confident in the rain to the dry. So, but we'll see what happens.
I mean, everybody around the paddock is just sort of doing this morning, just looking up and wondering.
Yeah.
In the mini class, they're all sort of fairly similar minis, of course.
Yeah.
What's maybe possibly different about yours? Getting the extra horses, or are you just a quicker driver?
No, so we're all power to weight and torque ratio matched. I don't know, just maybe a bit of car setup. This is a turbocharged, where the guy who's in second in the championship, he's in a supercharged. So there's 2 very different styles of driving, although the cars look the same.
Can you tell us, for people at home, what's the difference between those 2 setups?
In an easy way of talking, it's more like driving from a petrol to a diesel.
Okay.
So like a turbocharged car's got a lot more bottom end power, whereas the supercharged cars have got a lot more top end power. So you'll hear the supercharged cars more like screaming their cars a bit more, like using the top end of the power range.
I suppose that has advantages depending on the track too. So what's the advantage? Who's got the advantage here at Snetterton? Because you've got plenty of long straights, but also some nip and tuck turns as well around here.
Yeah, so I'd say it's difficult. It's pretty well matched track here. I think, in all honesty, I couldn't tell you what tracks, because I haven't been to enough yet. But I would say here probably suits an R53 maybe a little bit better because of the long straights. But then there's a lot of tight twisty bits with the 300 circuit. There's a lot of tight twisty parts through the infield. So with that, the turbos sort of seem to hook up a little bit better. So. And then hopefully the tyres are good to me as well, so they help me out.
Zach, great season so far on pole. Best of luck today.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
And there we go. It is time to go Kumho BMW Championship Racing. First of 2 races today. Over to you, commentator Dave Conrad.
Thanks very much, Ewan. Good morning, race fans, and welcome to Snetterton Race Circuit, the home of motorsport in the east of England. Not quite as sunny, unfortunately, as it was for day 1. Yesterday, we're here ready for day 2 on BARC TV, a day of action presented by the British Automobile Racing Club. Dave Goddard here taking you through the action as always. We'll be underway in just a few minutes' time with our first race of the day. We welcome the Kumho BMW Championship, the first of their 2 20-minute races today. Then there's a short pause after that while we have a qualifying session. We'll show you some action from yesterday during that break. Then we have the second race of the weekend for the Junior Saloon Car Championship, the teenage racers in their Citroën Saxos. Then the first race we've seen this year on our coverage from the Carbonate Hyundai Coupe Cup in partnership with Toyo Tyres. 2 races for them today. And that's followed by the Brick Car Trophy, their first of their 2 50-minute pit stop races today. Quite a varied entry for that race. After lunch, it will be the second race of the weekend for the Praga Cup. They have a 1-hour race with a mandatory pit stop. That's followed by the second Kumho BMW race, the second Brick Car Trophy race, and the second Carbon 8 Hyundai Coupe Cup race. So quite a variety of motorsport we have here today for you. Cars are already on the grid for our first race of the day, about to head off for their green flag lap. So we will give you the grid for the Kumho BMW Championship. This championship open to any BMW or BMW Mini, as we just heard from some of the drivers. And it is number 32, James Card, who has set pole position in the qualifying session that took place yesterday. 22 of Russell Dack alongside him. The second row, 76, Jason West. And it should have been Brian Bransom, number 26. Unfortunately, his car broke down during the Snetterton Saloons race held at the end of yesterday's race session. And it looks like he's a non-starter, unfortunately, so no Brian Bransom. Row 3, number 28, Brad Sheehan, alongside 78 of Ronan Bradley. We just heard from the Bradley brothers. The cars move off for the green flag lap. Row 4, the reigning overall champion, number 7, Kevin Denwood. He's in Class C with the BMW Compact, alongside Jazz Sapra. In his first of 4 races today, he won the Snetterton Saloons race yesterday. First of the BMW Minis on row 5, Zach Blackwell alongside Neil Clark. Then we've got Rob Austin, not the BTCC racer of the same name, and Charlie Heatley alongside him. Then number 13, Nigel Williams. He's in Class C of the BMWs alongside Andrew Godfrey with his BMW Mini. We saw him racing his Honda Civic yesterday. Row 8 is Andy Langley and Ionut Carrare. Row 9 we have Trevor Ford, the chairman of the BMW Racing Drivers Club, number 25, alongside Dan Butcher-Lord in the 23. And at the back we should see number 74, Chris Walton, and hopefully Niall Bradley, number 47, will be there. But he's just been out in the qualifying session for Brick Car Trophy. As he explained, he had to quickly swap, and we'll wait to see if he's at the back. He has actually set the fastest time in that Brick Car Trophy qualifying session, I can tell you. Now, is he there at the back? There's Trevor Ford and Dan Butcher-Lord. No, Niall Bradley isn't there, unfortunately. He may be starting from the pit lane. We'll wait and see. No Chris Walton either, number 74. This will be a 20-minute race. Cloudy and blustery morning here at Snetterton. We have had some rain overnight, so it might be a little slippery in the early stages. Hope you have a great day here with us at the Snetterton circuit on BARC TV. The opening rounds of this series were held at Silverstone on the international circuit. James Card, our pole sitter here, won a double there, while Niall Bradley, running in the invitation class, had a pair of wins at the second meeting of the season at Brands Hatch. One or two cars suffering some mechanical problems there. Kevin Denwood, running in Class C, car number 7, the BMW Compact, won the overall championship last year. This will be a standing start. The cars will form up on the grid. There's number 17, Ionut Carrare. I hope I pronounced that correctly. I believe he's of Romanian descent. 51 there in the A-Reeve run car is Andy Langley. One or two cars suffering some mechanical issues in the meeting at Brands Hatch, so a couple of cars not out today. There is James Card, the double winner from Silverstone, the season opener. One of the favourites for the championship this year. He runs in Class A for the cars with the highest power to weight ratio. The orange car next is Russell Dack, the Dackmeister as he's known, in the colours of the Jägermeister livery, so famous in motorsport, particularly in Group C sports cars. Sadly, no Brian Bransom. His car suffered problems in the Snetterton Saloons race yesterday. He was leading at the time as well when the car faltered. It was Jasveer Sapra who won that race. Now he's got 2 BMWs here this weekend, Jazz Sapra. He's in Class C in this race in his yellow M3. His grey M3 that he won the Snetterton Saloons race in yesterday. He's doing the Brick Car Trophy races in that car as well. So 5 races for Jazz. There he is in the yellow car across the course this weekend. He's the busiest man here this weekend. Jazz Sapra starting on row 4 alongside Kevin Denwood. Zach Blackwell going for 5 wins out of 5 in the BMW Mini category. We heard from him earlier. This will be a 20-minute race. Jason West could be in with a chance here. He had some contact with Brian Bransom in the opening round at Silverstone, if viewers may remember. And his rear wing fell off midway through the race. There's Jason, the black and orange underscore car prepared by the G Sports team. That's Giovanni Di Gennaro's team. Okay, here we go then. 20-minute race coming up. Ronan Bradley, the only Class B car on the grid. I suspect the first 3 on the grid here we're fighting for victory. Brad Sheehan in the pink and white number 28 car, the Days of Thunder inspired livery, could be a challenger as well. Waiting for the 5-second board to be held aloft by the marshal on the pit wall. Then the red lights will come on, and when they go out, we'll be underway. There's the 5-second board. Waiting for the red light to come on. It's time to go racing here at Snetterton. Day 2 here on BARC TV. The red lights go out, and away we go. And the BMWs charge down towards the right-hander at Rich's corner for the first time. Good start by James Carr. Decent start at the inside by Brad Sheehan in the pink 28 car as well. They all swing their way through. There's Jazz Sapra, the yellow car, just getting a wheel onto the curb on the inside as he chases the reigning champion Kevin Denwood up towards Wilson's hairpin for the first time. Onto the brakes, round the 180-degree right-hander. Card leads it from Dak. Sheehan up to 3rd. Not the best of starts by Jason West. He's down to 4th. And there's the BMW Mini category, and Zach Blackwell has lost the lead from his pole position. Up the inside there goes Charlie Heatley, the number 44. Blackwell's going backwards there, all over him there as they go into the left-hander at Palmer's. The leader's up towards the left at Agostini. It's the 32 of James Carr that leads. Dak in 2nd, Sheehan 3rd, West is 4th. Then it's the number 78 of Ronan Bradley. Now, is that Niall Bradley at the back? Yes, the green and white car. There is Niall, so he's joined from the pit lane after he had to dash in from brick car qualifying. There he is, the green and white car towards the back. So that's Niall Bradley, the Bradley brothers out there. We had hoped to see Adrian Bradley here as well for the family based in Kent, but we heard the reason given by Niall in his interview as to why Adrian isn't here. He was busy celebrating Liverpool's victory in the FA Cup yesterday. There go the BMW Minis, line astern. 46 car Andrew Godfrey was sharing Aaron Reeves' Honda Civic in the Snetterton Saloons yesterday. It is James Card who holds the lead in the 32 as they head out of the end of the Bentley Straights through the final few corners, then the bomb hole where the circuit drops down a little, then out of Corham and up towards the final corner at Murray's. There's the bomb hole. The Dackmeister in 2nd place. That's the Prep and Lay sponsored car of Russell Dack. He's been overall champion a few years ago in an E46 Compact, now in an M3. As they come up to cross the line for the first time. Card with a clear lead. 2nd place, it is the orange machine of Russell Dack. They're separated. Well, we don't know how much they're separated by because my timing screen's frozen. We'll do that in a moment from TSL timing. Sorry about that. Leaders head into the hairpin for the 2nd time. Brad Sheehan sideways into the hairpin. My goodness, what a save. Power sliding through the hairpin. That's a brilliant save by Brad Sheehan. Said it was a bit slippery out there. He's stayed ahead of Jason West as well in the battle for 3rd place. First 4 have broken away as I expected here. Number 28, pink and white livery on Brad Sheehan's car, inspired by Days of Thunder. Jason West in 4th place. Great to see who comes through next here. And who's leading the various classes further back in the order. Unfortunately, we've got no live timing at the moment. We'll rectify that as soon as we can. Jason West dropping back from the 28 of Brad Sheehan. trying to close up there as they go down the Bentley straights, the back straight here at Snetterton out of Williams corner, then down towards the left at Brundle under the bridge, and then the right at Nelson's. The leader at Nelson's now, that is James Card. Minute race for the Kumho BMW Championship. Jason West trying to chase for a podium here. Through the bomb hole, then the long right of Coram into the left at Murray's, the final corner. Named in honour of the voice of motorsports, Murray Walker. Jazz Sapra's got ahead of Kevin Denwood. And here are the minis, Rob Austin in the number 24 car. As we said, not to be confused with the ex-British touring car racer of the same name. Leads Charlie Heatley. Zach Blackwell didn't make the best of starts. He's back to third. The battle from the back. Dan Butcher-Lord started from the back of the grid, fighting it out with the number 53 there of Neil Clark. Could be a change to the lead there. Yes, Charlie Heatley's gone through at the exit of the bomb hole. Here are the minis. Charlie Heatley leading them through. There's Trevor Ford further back in the field in the number 25 car. He's in Class C as Austin attacks for the lead. The closest battle at the moment is in the BMW Minis. Charlie Heatley in number 44, the man from Brentwood in Essex, continues to lead the pack. 5 minutes of the race gone, 15 to go. Just waiting for our live timing to come back to life. Apologies for a few issues there. Okay, we've got the timing back now. It's Card from Dak by just under a second at the end of that lap. There are the leaders coming through Williams corner, named after the Formula One team and its founder, Sir Frank Williams, who was of course sadly lost to the sports just a year or two ago. Certainly one of the most important and revered figures in British motorsports, Sir Frank Williams. One of the voices of motorsports, Martin Brundle, has a corner named after him on this circuit as well. Martin Brundle from Norfolk, as was Lord Nelson, whose next corner is named after Nelson's County. Swing their way through the right-hander at the bomb hole, then it's up towards Coram. Still Card from Dak. Brad Sheehan in third place. Here are the minis. Charlie Heatley, Zach Blackwell now up into second place. Rob Austin's down to fourth. He led the class early on because Dan Butcher-Lord, number 23, has come through. He had to start from the back of the grid. Tailing onto this group is Neil Clark in the 53. 5 of them together for the lead. It could be 3 wide into Brundle here. This is going to be interesting. They disappear under the bridge. Dan Butcher-Lord has gone to the inside, I think, in the number 23 there. There's Charlie Heatley. He's held his lead. Blackwell side by side with Butcher-Lord. Blackwell with all 4 BMW wins to his name so far this season, the ex-motocross competitor, scrambling as it used to be known. Then Austin, Clark, the 46 of Godfrey in the white car moving to the outside. Here are the leaders. James Card still leads. His late father, Roger, raced in this championship for many years in a beautiful E30 M3, which I believe James Card still owns. Second place. Oh, we've got a tangle there. That's Jazz Sapra and Kevin Denwood. Smoke from Sapra's car. I think that maybe, is that tyre smoke or is it engine smoke? We'll see. I'll pick that up momentarily because the leaders are coming into Williams corner. Zach Blackwell, has he taken the lead in the BMW Minis? I think he has, yeah. Jazz Sapra's car is wounded. No, he hasn't taken the lead of the Minis. It's still Charlie Heatley, but Jazz Sapra we can see in trouble there with damage as a result of that collision. So he may not get all 4 races in today unless he can repair that yellow machine. See the damage to the front of the car. We'll try and see what happened there up at Rich's corner. Sapra had already got front end damage, look. And something broke going into the corner there. They both spin, Denwood as well. That was bizarre. They seem to have identical spins. Denwood saving it. It looked to me as though something either broke or flew off Jazz Sapra's car there. I saw a bit of debris fly up. I reckon something broke on the number 40 car, sent it into a spin, and then suddenly Kevin Denwood, it was as if he spun in avoidance. Here are the minis. Heatley from Blackwell Austin back up into third, so Dan Butcher-Lord has dropped back. I think he ran wide up at Riches in the first corner. 51 there is Andy Langley, Fakenham, so on his local circuit today. Good close battles among the BMW Mini Coopers. Identical 1600cc Mini Cooper S's. It's Charlie Hinckley, number 44, the man from Essex, in the 4-4 Motorsports car, with a clear lead in the class at the moment. Can he end Zach Blackwell's unbeaten run? Well, Blackwell's back to third because Rob Austin has come through into second place. James Card still leads overall by a couple of seconds. Brad Sheehan still third. Class B is being led by Ronan Bradley. Class C Invitation is Niall Bradley. And Class C is now being, well, it was being led by Kevin Denwood. We'll check if it still is after a bit of a spin. Yes, it is. Because his rivals in Class C are further behind. Trevor Ford is quite a way down the order in the number 25 car. Nigel Williams at the back of the field, and Jazz Sapper, of course, in trouble. The other Class C car of Pete Miller is not here. Great battle here, and a bit of trim hanging loose from the side of Zach Blackwell's car. There's been some contact in the battle of the minis. Into the pits comes Jazz Sapra. Damage to his car after that spin, as we saw. There's Kevin Denwood. He's still going in the number 7 after that moment. Here are the minis. Effectively 2 races in one here. We've got the BMW Saloons battling it out, and then the BMW Minis. There's damage there. You can see, I think it's the wheel arch trim hanging off the side, and both sides is damaged, look, on the car of Zach Blackwell. He's in trouble here. So there's been some contact in that battle for the lead of the Minis. Zach Blackwell's car dragging some bits of trim around. Meantime, here's your leader, and a change for second place. I think Russell Dack has hit problems somewhere, because Brad Sheehan has taken over second place. There he is. There's West in third. Have we lost Russell Dack? While we were watching the minis there, something's happened to the 22 car. Has he had a spin somewhere, I wonder? There he is. He's down to 4th place. So something's happened to Russell Dack there. He's had a moment somewhere. It is slippery out there, and these cars all rear-wheel drive, of course, these saloons. Lead gap was up to 3.5 seconds, near enough, at the end of the previous lap. Here comes Jason West now in the G Sports Run car, attacking for second place on the back of Brad Shear. We saw him have a couple of wins at Brands Hatch last year. He runs wide over the curbs there on the exit of Agostini. Up to the left-hander at Hamilton's, then the right at Oggy's, and right again at Williams. Sheehan starting to eke out a gap again over Jason West. They head down the Bentley straights. There's over 8 minutes of this race to go. Here are the minis. This is for 8th overall. Charlie Heatley ahead of Dan Butcher-Lord, Rob Austin, Neil Clark, and down to 5th in class is Zach Blackwell. Bodywork flapping around. Needs to be careful he doesn't get flagged in as a result of that. So if you have bodywork flapping around and it's judged to be dangerous, you can get the black and orange flag. The black flag with the orange disc, the meatball flag as the drivers call it. That means technical problem, you need to call into the pits. One car has dropped out so far, Jazz Sapra. There's Russell Dack. Similarly coloured car to Branson, apologies, of course, he failed to start the race after problems yesterday. There go the leaders. They're lapping Trevor Ford in the 25. He's waving them through. Yes, Jason West all over Brad Sheehan there. James Card looking for win number 3 for the season. He took a double at Silverstone at the season opener. It was Niall Bradley who won both races. And contact into the hairpin. Jason West into the back of Brad Sheehan. Sheehan goes around. Well, he tried to get up the inside there. There was no room on the inside. Try and see again what happened there if we can. So that'll put Brad Sheehan down to 4th place, I think. Let's have a look again. Up the inside. And Sheehan went to take the line for the hairpin. That was a bit over-optimistic, I think, by Jason West, but the main thing is both cars have continued. Where's Jason West? Still going in second place. It's Russell Dack up to third in the orange car. Left James Card with a clear lead. Here are the minis. Charlie Heatley looking for his first win of the season. Dan Butcher-Lord in the 23 in second place, the man from Peterborough. Zach Blackwell continues to drop back with his side trim flapping in the breeze. The two minis behind them, those of Langley, and running wide there, the 46 of Godfrey, I think that was. Anyone for Rallycross? Yonut Carrare has dropped away from them, then Nigel Williams and Trevor Ford rounding out the field. We usually see Trevor Ford's son James out in these races, car number 69, normally in Class D, but he's not out this weekend. Lead gap has come down a little. I think the timing stopped working again because it's showing Brad Sheehan in second place, and he's not, he's down to fourth. It's Jason West now shown in second, the timing a bit slow to update itself there, sorry. 2.5 seconds in it for the lead. Russell Dack in third, Sheehan is down to fourth, and here are the minis. Up the inside, Dan Butcher-Lord having a look in the blue car. Their tail is the number 53, Neil Clark, he's going well on his local circuit too, from Kings Lynn. Here comes Butcher-Lord at the inside, takes the lead, and following him is Neil Clark. That's at Hamilton. Through goes the 23 of Dan Butcher-Lord into the lead of the class. Charlie Heatley just seemed to lose momentum there coming out of Agostini, and now Neil Clark's going for the lead. We could have 3 leaders in 3 corners here, and it's the Norfolk mini car that leads in Norfolk. Neil Clark takes the lead of the class. Charlie Heatley goes down to third place. And here comes Rob Austin. I'm wondering if Charlie Heatley's starting to develop a problem here. He just seems to have lost his straight line speed. Dan Butcher-Lord pulls out to the outside, down towards the bridge. He's going to go round the outside on the brakes into Brundle. He's done it. Heatley goes up into second. This is terrific stuff from the minis. Heatley back to second. They seem to be slipstreaming each other down the straights more than using out-and-out power. In such evenly matched cars, that is the way to race. Poor old Zach Blackwell, he's got a grandstand view of all of this. He wants to be at the front of this battle. 4 minutes to go in this first of 2 races for the Kumho BMW Championship. Supported by Kumho tyres for many decades now. This is great stuff. The BMW Mini's certainly the highlights. James Card still leading overall. Now the leaders are coming towards the end of lap number 8 as the Minis starts lap number 8, so you can see the gulf between the BMW saloons and the Minis. Behind the big 4 at the front in Class A, we've got the Bradley brothers. It's Clark side by side with Heatley. Heatley gets the sprint out of the hairpin. Oh, and Neil Clark slowed. I think he missed a gear there coming out of the hairpin. Just lost drive briefly. It's Niall Bradley 5th. Ahead of his brother Ronan. They're in different classes, Class C Invitation and Class B. Then Kevin Denwood, he leads Class C, and then the Minis. There's a bit of debris there. Rob Austin runs over it. That's a bit of Zach Blackwell's car, I think. Austin up the inside, takes Neil Clark. A brief loss of momentum out of the hairpin. He's lost 2 places there. Dan Butcher-Lord leads the Minis. Fastest lap of the race recorded by Niall Bradley, 2 minutes, .534, and he's down in 5th place. Charlie Heatley has retaken Rob Austin. And he's run wide there, Charlie Heatley onto the grass. Good save, he managed to pull back on. Rob Austin gives him room to recover. He'll surely get ahead of him down the Bentley straight now. Away in front is Dan Butcher-Lord, number 23, and Neil Clark wants some of this as well. They could be 3 wide into the left-hander at Brundle. Round the outside goes Rob Austin. In the middle is Charlie Heatley. Neil Clark trying to get through on the inside, but Dan Butcher-Lord's been able to get away as a result of that at the front of the class. Just over 2 minutes to go. James Card leads by just over 2.5 seconds. Neil Clark muscles his way past Charlie Heatley now. That's through the bomb hole. Up to Coram. It's long right-hander. And they swing into the left at Murray's. Leaders are coming up to lap this lot. Now it'll be starting the last lap this time. James Card's got his headlights on to warn the back-marking minis that he's there. They've lapped one of them already. That's number 51, I think, of Andy Langley. They've lapped number 17 as well. Look at this, 4 or 5 of them together, and James Card's got to find a way through this lot. He's going to go through the middle as they come up towards Richard. Excuse me, says James Card. And the ways part, and he's through the middle. They've all missed each other, just about there. Getting out of James Card's way. That was brilliant. It was like the parting of the Red Sea, the minis moving apart there. Straight through the middle went James Card, and he's heading for victory. Neil Clark's heading for the grass if he's not careful, because he's going to get out of the way of Jason West, who twitches his way out of the hairpin there in second place. Russell Dack is still third. There's the orange card monstering up on the back of the minis. James Card avoids that bit of debris on the inside, doesn't want to puncture his tyres. Passes Dan Butcher-Lord. Over the debris goes Russell Dack. Oh, that bit of wheel arch goes flying. Careful, says Zach Blackwell behind him. That's mine. He'll want that back after the race. 30 seconds on the clock, so it's going to be checkered flag this time for the BMW M3 of James Card. He's heading for win number 3 this year, barring any mechanical maladies on this final lap. Had some problems with the throttle on that car at Silverstone. He struggled to get the car dialed in. No problem at all here, though. It's a couple of seconds clear of Jason West in second place. Down the Bentley straight for the final time they go. Just the left-hander at Brundles, then the right at Bombhole, and Nelson at Bombhole and Coram, then round into Murray's. Russell Dack third. There's Brad Sheehan. Covered after his bit of contact with Jason West. He's got Niall Bradley up behind him. Jason West trying to close in on the Mike Brewer Motors sponsored BMW of Russell Dack, of James Card rather. Russell Dack back in third place. They're coming to Murray's for the final time. Jason West closing, but it's going to be too late. Our first winner of the day here at Snetterton is going to be number 32, James Card. There's the checkered flag. James Card takes the win. Win number 3 of the season. Jason West comes over in second. 1.5 seconds separate the two of them. And Russell Dack, the Dackmeister, completes the podium, the former champion. What about the minis? Fourth goes to Brad Sheehan. Niall Bradley is fifth. Who's going to come through to win the mini class? It's going to be Dan Butcher-Lord in the number 23. Takes the minis ahead of Neil Clark, Charlie Heatley. Now, where did the previously unbeaten Zach Blackwell finish? Only 7th in the class. He clearly picked up some damage to that car. A bit of contact in there, as we saw. Last couple of finishers to come through. It'll be Niall Bradley 5th, ahead of Ronan Bradley and Kevin Denwood. They win their classes. Confirm the results just as soon as we have them. Last couple of cars coming over the line then. Then we will confirm the results, waiting for Ronan Bradley and Kevin Denwood to come in. I think just one retirement there. We lost Jazz Sapra with some damage. Curious incident there. Something broke as he went into the first corner of Riches and he went spinning around. Kevin Denwood seemed to go off in an identical spin in avoidance. Over the line comes Nigel Williams towards the back of the field there. Just still waiting for a couple of cars to take the checkered flag because it's a long lap here on the Snetterton 300 circuit. Waiting for Ronan Bradley and Kevin Denwood. They were separated by about 7 seconds. I can just see them in the background there. Leaders just failed to catch them. So it's win number 3 for James Card this year. That'll put him in pole position in terms of the points for Class A, and it'll put him in pole position for Race 2, because the grid for Race 2, let's double check, yes, is formed by the results of Race 1. Okay, we'll have a look at the provisional results in a second then. James Card the winner by just under 1.5 seconds. Jason West tried to close in on that final lap, and it was Russell Dack who's completed the podium, with Brad Sheehan in 4th place. The 4 Class A cars clearly a cut above the rest. Niall Bradley in 5th position. He wins Class C Invitation. Ronan Bradley, his brother, wins Class B. Williams, the only runner in Class B. 7th goes to Kevin Denwood, he wins Class C. And then we've got the Minis a lap down. Dan Butcher-Lord, his first Class win of the year, ahead of Neil Clark. Then Charlie Heatley, Rob Austin, the 46 of Andy Godfrey. And Zach Blackwell down in 6th in the class, not 7th, as I initially said. Sorry, he did beat the number 51 of Andy Langley to the line there, but only just. Yonuk Karare completing the top 15, and then Nigel Williams and Trevor Ford, the other two finishers. We lost Jasper Sapra with damage after that spin. Hopefully he'll be able to fix that damage for race 2. He's got 4 races to compete in today. The Brick Car Trophy's out in as well, as we said. Well, hopefully we can catch up with James Card and his fellow battlers in the BMW shortly. Fastest lap in that race incidentally went to Niall Bradley, 2 minutes, .179. We can shortly head down to our ace interviewer, Ewan, who is down in Parc Ferme talking to some of the drivers.
Cheers, Dave. Thank you very much. Here with James Card, race winner, 3rd win of the season. How was that one for you?
Oh, tough, very tough. The first half of the race was okay, and then I think we had an incident in the first corner, and then drove the whole lap dropping fluid down, and you couldn't really work out where it was. So the middle part was literally just keeping it on the track and not spinning. And I think a few did spin behind me, and then to be honest, I was just going ultra cautious. Don't spin with the lead, and I could see them catching me, but I was like, I don't think they've got enough time, and I'm just going to be careful.
I think at one point it got down to about 1.5 seconds. He was really close behind you.
Yeah, and then I think he made a mistake on the oil, and I didn't. I was probably being overly cautious, but I managed to win, so I suppose it's the right thing to do. And then we caught all the minis right to the end, and that's how I have to admit, I got through the mirror on the straight, and I wasn't sure I was going to.
We enjoyed that. I think you split 5 right down the centre.
Yeah, I really wasn't sure whether to go, and I wasn't sure whether it was a BMW-sized gap between them, but it was, thankfully, and I just thought, Jason's going to get held up there, and at that point, I didn't coast back, but I thought I've got the time now to do it.
3rd win, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Right, so let's see if we can also speak to Jason West. Where is Jason? We'll go for a walk. Want to speak to Dan Butcher-Lord. Let's speak to Dan. Where's Dan? Dan, how you doing, mate? Minis never fail to disappoint, do they?
No, I think that's been the best race we've had all year. Glad to be back on top. It's been a while since we've had a win, but no. I mean, if I didn't win, I think that would have been one of the highlights of the year.
I mean, there was 5 of you, like buzzing like flies.
The Minis have got a lot of grip that go around the inside, outside, they'll hold their ground. I think it's great. So anyone that's got one should join, really.
And one more race to come today as well.
Yeah, so if we start on pole, we've got a good chance of race 2. Other than that, we'll just keep our head down and do our own thing.
Now, one incident there when our race leader split you down the centre. I mean, what do you do in that situation when you know you've got to get out of the way, but you are racing?
Well, I can see there's probably a 2-second gap there. I thought, well, if they've had to yield a little bit, I've probably got a little time to yield as well. But you've got to pick your right chance to let them overtake. Not too late into the corner, try and let off into the corner so you get a good exit out. But other than that, yeah, I think we did a solid drive.
Mate, great entertainment, well done.
Thank you very much.
Right, let's speak Neil. Let's have a chat as well in the minis. Mini racing, it is just incredible, isn't it?
That's fantastic. I was glad to be involved in all of that up there. Yeah.
What you just checking the tyre pressures behind you there?
Yes. Just just checking where they were from last time, and because it's been feeling good.
Now, second place, you could have been anything. With about a minute to go, I still didn't know who I was going to be interviewing. You could have finished anything between first and first.
Top five, so close in that race, which is good. I think they're trying to find a balance with all the cars, so it's getting closer. And I had a little go in the lead with the minis, and then dropped back again. But no, loved that.
How did you deal with the track condition? A bit of oil down there.
Yes. I thought it was my brakes at first, but coming down to the first corner, the two in front collided, and I saw the flag, and I think most of the way around the circuit as well. So it was a bit tricky for a few laps.
Well, we cannot wait till race 2.
Oh, thank you.